Watch out, Washington. We the people are coming to take back Congress. And we're bringing with us some big ideas like Medicare for all and a Green New Deal. We did it in New York. We did it in Minnesota. We're doing it on the national stage, and now we're bringing that voice back to San Francisco. My name's Shahid Buttar. I'm running for Congress. I'm an immigrant. I'm a Muslim. I grew up in rural Missouri. When I was 16 years old, my family lost our house as I graduated from high school. I got my undergrad degree while working full-time after 10 years of night school. Then I went to Stanford to study and teach law. I've fought for your rights for 20 years, from San Francisco to Washington, D.C. as a constitutional lawyer, policy advocate, writer, educator, and grassroots organizer. And now I'm running to serve the people of San Francisco by fighting corporate corruption in Congress. We don't have the corporate cash that's kept Nancy Pelosi in office for 30 years. In fact, we just don't take corporate money.
So what you just saw there was Shahid Buttar in a new ad telling us exactly why he's the man to replace Nancy Pelosi in Congress in California's 12th district. He understands, unlike Nancy Pelosi, the working and middle class experience of America, and he understands what it's going to take to offer a functional, progressive alternative, not only to the Republican Party, not only to Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump and all the rest of those ghouls, but to corporate Democrats like Pelosi and Schumer and so many others. And as people might not realize, the Democratic primary already happened in California. They have a jungle primary. So in November, there's only 2 Democrats on the ballot in the 12th district in California. There's no Republicans. It's Nancy Pelosi, corporate Democrat extraordinaire, who has dozens of millions of dollars invested in real estate alone, who fundamentally is part of the exploitative class that preys upon working class and middle class people in San Francisco and beyond, versus somebody that fundamentally understands the struggle of working class people, of racialized people, of immigrant families and immigrant communities in Shahid Buttar. This is the biggest race. I've talked about this before, so have people like Kyle Kulinski. As Kyle has noted, if there's one race in this primary cycle that will shake things up, this is the one. Not to discount AOC's big primary defense win, not to discount Mondaire Jones, not to discount Jamaal Bowman. Those were all fantastic victories. Not even to discount what would have been a monumental victory by Charles Booker over Amy McGrath. None of that should be discounted. But if you can think of one Democrat in the House that needs to fall to usher in fundamental change, both because them falling will be a big result in and of itself, but also what it signifies to the corporate Democrats to put them on notice, Nancy Pelosi falling in a deep blue district is what's needed. We've seen Nancy Pelosi perform progressivism for decades, especially in recent years. But when the chips are down to actually be progressive, to actually implement progressive policy rather than talk about it, she's a ghost. She's a shadow. She's nowhere to be found. Shahid Buttar has been on the ground fighting for these policies for a long time, and he belongs in the camp with Bernie and AOC and Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib and Mondaire Jones and Jamaal Bowman and Charles Booker. Shahid Buttar is part of that same group of people who, whether they've succeeded or not, have been fighting the good fight on behalf of a Medicare for all plan, a Green New Deal, genuine commitments to workers' rights, genuine commitments to racial justice, to reining in excessive police power. Nancy Pelosi has done none of this. If anything, Nancy Pelosi has been outright derisive to grassroots, diverse, progressive activists. Whenever she's forced to even talk to them, she just rejects them. Nancy Pelosi is what's wrong with the Democratic Party. If you even believe, let's play some devil's advocate, and you say, well, you need to run some moderate Democrats in some of the more purple states and the purple areas of states because you need to win them versus moderate Republicans, blah, 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 blah. Why are you running corporate, milquetoast neoliberal Democrats in the bluest of the blue districts in urban California that vote Democrat by 30 points? These are the exact districts where you need to put ambitious progressives who are driven to incubate ideas to make them mainstream. You need people like Shahid Buttar in these districts to make the ideas like Medicare for All, a Green New Deal, racial justice more mainstream. Someone like Nancy Pelosi is only a barrier to that transformation of American society because it doesn't benefit her, it doesn't benefit her family, and it doesn't benefit her backroom friends in the Republican and Democratic parties. It just doesn't. So, this is a great opportunity, and if you were following Twitter today, hashtag Pelosi must go was, at least for a little bit, number 1, maybe number 2 trending nationwide in the United States. There is an appetite for change, so I encourage you, unite behind Shahid Buttar, because however big it was for Jamaal Bowman to defeat Elliot Engel and for AOC a couple years ago to defeat Joe Crowley, this would be at least a couple steps bigger.